We've seen her live, in the hallway remarks. So there might be some overlap in this, but she went on Steve Bannon's show to kvetch about the people voting against Kevin McCarthy. It's so good.
I've been leader for 4 years.
Which is enough for anybody.
I came into this position and we had less than 200 members. We are now sitting in the majority. We put forth to the American public a commitment to America. There's times we're going to have to argue with our own members if they're looking at...
We saw all this shit. Okay, here we go. Back up.
Want something for themselves. So we may have a battle on the floor.
Turns out they did.
But the battle...
By the way, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Hi. Historic day. For the first time in 100 years, the House of Representatives in the United States failed to elect a speaker because the Republicans are fighting amongst themselves, and they've got a hair's breadth majority, and they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Battle is for the conference.
Which, I mean, that's not news, but it's interesting.
And the country, and that's fine with me.
Hi.
Okay. Let me take it. By the way, is that a misdirection play, Congressman Greene, about these names and about people asking for it? Because isn't this at the end of the day, and the reason that,
tip of the spear, armor piercing shell. What part of this is signal and which part of it is noise?
So many of your most ardent followers, particularly in the war room, are shocked every time you come up and pitch for Kevin McCarthy. Isn't this the 12-year fight of the populace versus the cartel? And Kevin McCarthy just represents the worst elements of the cartel, ma'am.
Ma'am. First of all, please keep calling her ma'am after you've called her congressman a bunch of times. The fact that these assholes are referring to the kind of run-of-the-mill regulars of their own political party as the cartel.
Ma'am.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? Here, let me tell everyone. You know what?
Let me tell you something.
What people might not like right now is that I'm telling them the truth.
Yeah, people hate the truth. They hate the truth, which is that you've been full of shit and cradling Matt Gaetz's balls for years now, and you never liked him and never trusted him ever. And you've been lying to people about it. And now you flip-flopped on the maggots and you're supporting Kevin McCarthy. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were telling us the truth.
What do you want? Do you want me to sit on your show and lie to everyone?
Yeah, that's pretty much the gig. You could at least try. Let them down easy. Truth, sometimes like sunlight, burns. It is filters and shadows that soften it. You're going to give everybody melanoma.
Because if that's what you want from Marjorie Taylor Greene, you are never going to get it. I
just think, is it me or does she sound defensive? Shadow Woman, thank you so much for the gifting of the sub.
Refuse to lie to anyone. And simply right now, because the base doesn't like what I'm telling them, it doesn't.
Fuck the base, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Doesn't mean that it's not the truth. I'm telling you 100% the truth because that is my job.
Yeah, Mama Bear is here. And the truth is, we don't have enough food and we're going to have to eat some of the cubs.
That's the only thing I want to do. I want to rip it all wide open. You know.
And by it, she means Lauren Boebert.
Why I'm upset?
Because you're intellectually incapable of understanding the job or the task ahead of you, and it's very frustrating, kind of like a chimpanzee who's trying to operate some sort of lever to get a food pellet, and they switched it just to see whether or not it would affect you emotionally. Is that the reason?
Because Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, and Scott Perry, the chairman of the Freedom Caucus.
The Freedom Caucus. Yes, tell us. They're awful. Tell us how they're a bunch of liars, and you never trusted them to begin with.
Walked in Kevin McCarthy's office last night and made their own personal demands.
Oh my God, they did not.
For which subcommittee chairmanships they want to have, and who they want on committees, and who they want taken off committees. And guess what? The chairman of the Freedom Caucus negotiated nothing for me.
Right. She's not mad because they came in there and did that, and it's ethically wrong and manipulative or anything. She's pissed she wasn't included. That's extraordinary. She said this a couple of times already. It could be a Freudian slip once. Now she's fucking mad.
Nothing for me. And I'll back this up even further.
Yeah. So you're saying you got nothing?
I read text messages.
Yeah, we've been reading text messages too from January 6th. Fuck you, lady.
From these people.
But hold it.
But that's all, folks.
But hang on. But this wasn't personal.
So,
this wasn't.
Hang on.
Hang on. Go ahead.
I can't imagine why the caucus didn't go well.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
really need to say this. People need
Go
to
ahead.
understand that this is one vote. Do you know where all the fights really are? We have to get to 218 on every single bill we pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's starting to sink in, isn't it? Starting to realize the issue. That the only way you get to it, because of the Matt Gaetzes of the world, to get anything through is to incorporate some Democrats, which means you have to give them something and make it bipartisan and leave out the poison pills, or you won't get any of them, and the other people, the Andy Biggs crowd, will vote against it just to be an asshole. Again, don't threaten me with a good time.
We have to get to 218
And you can't.
to actually make anything happen on the House
Yeah. Again, they don't plan on anything actually happening.
floor. And out of 222 members, that is practically impossible.
Democrats manage to do it all the time. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's Maybelline.
That's where my power is. That's where every single conservative has power, is with our voting card. And if
Yes, because there are so few of you compared to the other side that any wedge at all destroys your entire legislative agenda. You starting to understand that the next 2 years are going to be miserable for Republicans?
if anyone thinks that this is the hill to die on, they are absolutely wrong, because every single bill that we have to go in there, we have to fight for conservative.
Yeah, but stupid, the speaker decides which things get to the floor. So it's not just what gets to the floor, but what, what stage gets them to the floor. What draft of the legislation gets to the floor. And if the Freedom Caucus thinks Kevin McCarthy is going to make deals because they'll vote against everything just to be assholes because they want the government to collapse, then he's got to make deals with Democrats to get these things to the floor, and the draft will be more favorable to them than the Freedom Caucus would want, and therefore they'll stomp their feet and shut shit down, and she knows that's where they are.
Principles. We have to fight for America first on these bills, and that is what I am dedicated to do. It's not about the person we put in there as speaker. It's about
Yeah, but it kind of is.
fighting for the right things for our country, and that is exactly what I'm going to do, Steve.
Okay, by the way, she notice how she just fell back on campaign language because she ran out of steam.
I just want to make sure, but Gates, Perry, and Boebert on the meeting last night, if this was what was explained at the conference, weren't asking for themselves personally. They had very specific recommendations on subcommittee chairs, committee chairs, etc. But they were putting that forward as and specific names, including people that would join you on the Rules Committee, that very specific names that they felt would give a more conservative.
I've said I've put in every single one of us, Steve, every member of Congress, we get to fill out a form and write on the form which committees we would like. I just made my request like everyone else. I didn't go in someone's office and get behind closed doors and demand this is what I want in order for me to vote for you.
I was expecting them to do that for me, and then they didn't. Fuck them.
I didn't do that. Not at all. I looked at an agenda, and I've talked with many of our colleagues in our Republican conference and said, this is what we need to do. This is what America needs. We have to secure our border. We have to hold the Biden administration accountable.
Yeah, by the way, that phrase means nothing.
Look at what has happened on Twitter files. That is unbelievable. The FBI.
Yeah, it's not believable.
The CIA, and God knows who else.
Probably I'm going to go with the Department of Education. No. DEA? Nah. YMCA?
Been censoring Americans on social media.
No, they haven't.
And it goes way past Twitter. It goes to Facebook, Instagram, and all other kinds of places, Google especially. But think about this. They're walking in there and making deals for themselves. These are people that I have aligned myself with, but they have personally attacked me simply because I've said, let's do our jobs and not play a personality contest.
Oh, weird. So the entire MAGA anti-establishment rebellion revolution bullshit that you guys all prided yourself on during the campaigns. Apparently, the problem is that they didn't get the message that it was all bullshit. What was that talk about saying fuck it and making your move? Or was that all bullshit? That was all bullshit, Joel.
I'm sick and tired of the personality contest.
Because you're losing?
That's the Never Trump movement. The Never Trump movement
is now the Never McCarthy movement. Next thing you know, it'll be the Never Marge movement. It's coming. It's right around the corner.
It's simply against MAGA, against President Trump, because they don't like him. Enough of this. I don't care who anybody likes and who they don't like. We have a damn job to do.
Why start now?
That is why we are here. We have a job to do. And so let me tell conservatives across.
For the record, though, Lauren Boebert and Biggs and all those assholes, Jim Jordan, where they think their job is to dig their feet into the ground, anchor themselves, and not move and fuck the whole thing up. They do. It's not that they're not doing their job. It's just that's what they think their job is.
Across the country, something. You better be careful when someone is saying, trust us, we have a plan, and they won't tell you what the plan is.
Wait a minute. Do you have a copy of Trump's healthcare plan? Huh? The fuck are you talking about? What about his plan to get out of Afghanistan? Do you have a copy of that shit? What the fuck?
At least Kevin McCarthy has put out a plan extensively
Yeah, which is more than Trump ever did. And yet, all right.
All over the media, all over his website, and every single press conference he gives, and every.
By the way, it isn't a plan. It's an outline of priorities. There's no plan. There's no legislation. There's no vote structure. There's no actual strategy. It's just a list of right-wing talking points.
Single interview he does. At least we know the public plan, and it's.
What is it? Quote it. Fire it off. It's easy to remember.
Something that 222 Republican members can get aligned behind.
Apparently, you just said they can't because getting 218 votes on any of it is, a near impossibility?
And work our butts off to make it happen. That's what we owe the American people, because I know regular people at home, they're not working hard at work to pay their taxes for us to come up here and be mad and say, oh, I'm not voting for that person. I just don't like him.
You're kidding, right? They just this is like an old myth about how the moon and the sun change places in the sky. Like every night she drowns irony in a bathtub, and every morning when she comes in to take a shower, it beats the shit out of her.
He gave me everything I asked for, but it's just not enough. That is ridiculous. We have a job to do, and it's time to get to work.
Real quickly, because I know you get it. When you say take,
real quickly, because I know I've got to get you out of here because our viewers are upset with you for supporting Kevin McCarthy.
The win, and you're telling Gates and you're telling Boebert and Perry and the Freedom Caucus and Chip Roy and these guys, take the win. Be specific. What do you mean by that? What is the win that you're...
Control of the House of Representatives. You fucking stooge. Even I know what the fuck she's talking about. Without, by the way, control of it without a giant, albatross hanging around the neck of whoever becomes speaker, that it took them forever to get a vote to pass, and their own caucus doesn't support them. Because going into, 2024, that's going to fuck the whole thing up. This is so stupid. Yeah, he definitely knows diagram 65.
You're defining that is the real win here, and not some performative smoke and mirrors, ma'am.
The win is, to quote
Thank you, Water God.
Matt Gaetz, the exquisite rules package. That's what he called it. That is what we have debated on for months.
By the way, the fact that Matt Gaetz used the word exquisite is fucking gross. Does that not just the idea? Imagine Matt Gaetz, with his big stupid face and his big dumb hair, saying exquisite. You know what I mean? Get out of here.
Now, the rules package that's been put together.
Exquisite. Ew.
That we have talked about extensively, of returning Congress to the way it functions and making it work for the country. Matt Gaetz calls it an exquisite rules package.
I think you just heard him talking about he was discussing his package with some page. I got an exquisite rules package over here. Ew, I'm just here to take lunch orders. I got your lunch order. Quit it.
That is what he called it on our conference call on Sunday.
Which, by the way, is gross. And what the fuck are you talking about?
Take it. Take the win. And I'm going to tell you something, Steve. I'm not tired of winning.
Well, I know, because you're a who there.
I want to keep winning. I feel like President Trump. I want to keep going.
You do? You feel winded when you walk up 3 stairs?
As long as possible.
I would see a doctor.
Okay, that's the buzzer. I'm heading down to the House floor right
Real
now.
Real quickly, how many votes are you prepared to tell McCarthy to sit there before you go back to conference? When you're in McCarthy's ear, how many votes you think you ought to be going on today?
He is not leaving. He is not leaving. It is unbelievable. He just sit there and swore up and down to our entire conference. He's not leaving, and neither is everybody else. So,
well, there you go. He's not leaving, and neither is everybody else. Well, that's I think we got ourselves a Freedom Caucus standoff then. I'm sure she's felt Donald. Oh, come on. Right, Mr. Ex-Husband? Yeah. She's not tired of winning. Because what? Barely once?
So it's time for my friends to take the win. Let's do our jobs. Okay, I'm out. I got to go. Thanks, Steve.
Congressman Greene, thank you. It's an honor to have you on.
He did it again. He did it again. Every time Mike Pillow comes on, he fucks with him and laughs right in his goddamn face. And then every time she's leaving, listen to what he calls her.
So it's time for my friends to take the win. Let's do our jobs. Okay, I'm out. I got to go. Thanks, Steve.
Congressman Greene, thank you for this.
Congressman Greene. Excuse me. Oh, God. It's just Congressman Greene. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. It's a particularly good day. It's a historic day. It's a 1 in 100 year day in the history of the Congress.